having good gut health isn't going to stop you from getting COVID, but if you do get it, you're less likely to get severe symptoms.
But the best part of that answer, by the way, was with the fact that you called me brilliant, because nobody's ever called me brilliant on this channel. So what are the signs of an unhealthy gut?
Not a lot of people like to talk about. I'm certainly not saying you have to share, the type of poops you're having with everyone at the dinner table, but it offers so much important information.
So are you telling us we should be looking at our poop? So gluten. Is gluten sensitivity being exaggerated? Does everything really have to be gluten-free? And does gluten-free mean healthy? I heard you say that we can improve or maybe even treat depression with our diet. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so certainly when I was studying nutrition and dietetics, a decade ago, we were told that maybe diet would have a bit of a role in depression, but let's not oversell it. So, I guess as a clinician, I was always like, a bit hesitant about it. But in 2017, there was a major landmark study, which what they did, without getting into too much of the science, they took people who had moderate to severe depression, and they randomized half of them to getting a gut boosting diet, and we'll talk more about what that diet was, and the other half got this befriending type of counseling. Now, the befriending type of counseling acted like a fake intervention to make sure any benefit in the diet group wasn't because the participants were seeing a dietitian, but actually because of the food. So 2 groups, one was the diet, one was the befriending counseling, followed that for 12 weeks. Then they came back and reassessed their mental health using different types of validated questionnaires we use in clinic. And what they found in the diet group, 32% of them had a significant improvement in their depression scores, which would have classified them as no longer clinically depressed.
Wow.
In the befriending group, that was only 8%.
Wow.
And yeah.
Go ahead.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's crazy. But go ahead, finish.
Yeah, and I think it's always important to disclose with this study is that all participants stayed on their medication because they did have moderate to severe depression. So anyone watching this who's thinking, oh, great, I'll just go down the diet route, certainly don't stop medication that you're on. But again, in clinic, I've certainly been able to work with the patient and work with their psychiatrist who've prescribed the medication. And over time, by boosting the gut with plenty of different types of plant-based diversity, we've actually been able to help lower their medication. And for some people, they've actually been able to come off that safely over time. So it's so powerful. And I guess one of the key foundations of that gut boosting diet was not only the plant-based diversity, but per day, these participants were getting in about 50 grams of fiber a day. Now, in the US and most of the Western world, people are getting less than 20 grams, and this was having 50 grams. Government recommends usually around 30 grams a day. So you can see, fiber is hugely important. And I think a lot of people have heard this word fiber, but they don't understand why, again, it's important. And the thing about fiber is that human cells don't have the enzymes to digest fiber. So when we eat fiber, actually it gets malabsorbed through most of that 9-meter digestive tract and gets the lower part that's where the bacteria live. And it's the bacteria that have those enzymes to break down the fiber. So fiber is food for the bacteria in our body and not for human cells. And it's really been that revolution and that revelation of understanding that really, I think, has made us start to go, oh, okay, fiber, it helps with your poop and, helps lower your cholesterol. But also, actually, the key foundation of why it's so good for us is that it feeds our inner community that then in turn look after us.
That's unbelievable. So there is a speaker, Dr. Robert Lustig, I believe his name is. He's brilliant, and I follow him also. And he's really made his name as a crusader against sugar. And now he's getting into other things. But in one of his books, his mantra is feed the gut, protect the liver. And the more you speak, the more I realize what he means by feeding the gut. So when we talk about fiber, I think fiber to me is probably one of the most important things we are lacking in our diet in the Western world, Western civilization. And I think fiber is probably one of the most important things for the exact reason that you said, that we are feeding the good bacteria.
Exactly.